A baseball is hit so that its height s in feet after t seconds is s equals negative 16t squared plus 60t plus 7. For what time period is the ball at least 51 feet above the ground? Okay, so we want to be able to find the values of t so that the height s is at least 51 feet above the ground. So to find the time for which the ball is at least 51 feet above the ground, we want to be able to solve the equation s to then be greater than or equal to 51. So we know that what s is equal to here. So that means since this is what s is equal to, we're saying s here has to be greater than or equal to 51. We know that s is negative 16t squared plus 60t plus 7. We want to set that to be greater than or equal to 51. So the first thing we need to do is subtract 51 to both sides so that we end up getting 0 on the right side of the equation. So let's subtract 51 to both sides. So then we get negative 16t squared plus 60t, and then this is going to be minus, so we're going to take 51 and then subtract 7, so that's going to give us 44, and that's going to be greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so now the next thing is we want to see if we can factor anything out of this particular equation. So we can see here that they all have a 4 in common. So we're going to factor out a negative 4. So we're going to factor out a negative 4, and then what's left is positive 4t squared minus, well, how many times does 4 go into 60? So we know that 60 divided by 4 is 15, so that's minus 15t. And then what do you have to multiply by negative 4 to get negative 44, where that's positive 11, and that's greater than or equal to 0. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to divide both sides by negative 4. Now when we divide by negative 4, we immediately need to flip that inequality. So now that we flip that inequality, now we end up with 4t squared minus 15t plus 11, and that's less than or equal to 0. Okay, so now we have our inequality, but now we need to find our interval boundaries. So in order to find that interval boundary, we got to write this as an equation. So we have 4t squared minus 15t plus 11, and set that equal to 0. So we need to factor this. So in order to factor this, we're going to have to use the AC method. So we know that A times C, which is 4 times 11, is equal to 44. Part 3 here, we know that AC represents 44, and we know the middle number is 15. So what two numbers do we need to multiply to get positive 44? Then we add them together, we get negative 15. Well, we already got those two numbers, because negative 4 times negative 11 gives us positive 44, and we add them together, it gives us negative 15. So therefore we have 4t squared minus 4t minus 11t plus 11, and that's equal to 0. We're going to draw a line in between the four terms so we can factor out the common factor of the first two terms, which is 4t, and what's left is t minus 1. Over on this side, we're going to also get t minus 1. And so what can we factor out of those two numbers, which is negative 11? So now for step number 6, if we factor out the t minus 1, and then what's left is 4t minus 11, which is equal to 0. And now using the 0 product rule, we have t minus 1 which is equal to 0, or 4t minus 11, which is equal to 0. So we have t equals 1, or over here, we get 4t, which is equal to positive 11. Divide both sides by 4, and t is going to equal 11 over 4. Okay, so now we have our interval boundaries. So let's go ahead and do that. So now that we have our interval boundaries, let's draw our number line. So we know that we have 11 over 4. So what does 11 over 4 actually equal? So 11 divided by 4 gives us 2.75. So let's keep that in mind. That's 2.75. So we have 1 and also 11 over 4, which also equals 2.75. So we have interval 1, we have interval 2, and then interval 3. So for interval 1, we're going from negative infinity to positive 1. From interval 2, we're going from 1 to 11 over 4, or 2.75. And then from interval 3, we're going to go from 11 over 4 to positive infinity. So now we need to test our intervals. Okay, so for interval 1, okay, we know that we're using this inequality, which is 4t squared minus 15t plus 11 to be less than or equal to 0. So for interval 1, we can choose the time of 0. So rather than saying x, since we're using t, time is equal to 0. Okay, so that means we're picking t is equal to 0. So at t is equal to 0, we're going to plug it in. So 4 times 0 squared minus 15 times 0 plus 11. Okay, we already know that that's going to give us 0, and 11 is not less than 0. So we already know it's going to be false for that time. So the time for interval 1 is going to be false. Okay, for region number 2, okay, we can pick 2. So t is going to equal 2. So it's going to be 4 times 2 squared minus 15 times 2 plus 11. We want to see if it's going to be less than or equal to 0. So this is 4 times 2 squared. 2 squared is 4 times 4 is 16. Minus 15 times 2 is 30. And then plus 11. Okay. So 16 minus 30 is negative 14. And then plus 11. So negative 14 plus 11 is negative 3. And negative 3 is less than 0. So it's true for region number 2. Okay, if we take a look at region number 3, we're going to pick t, which is equal to, since that's 2.75, we can pick 3. So when t is equal to 3, we got 4 times 3 squared minus 15 times 3 plus 11. We want to see if that's less than or equal to 0. 3 squared is 9, and 9 times 4 is 36, minus 15 times 3, which is 45, excuse me. So minus 45, and then plus 11. So 36 minus 45 is negative 9 plus 11, which is positive 2. And so is positive 2 less than or equal to 0? Well, that's false. So it's false for region number 2. So where is it true? It's true for region number 2 between 1 and 11 over 4, which is the same thing as 2.75. So let's answer our question here. So it's saying that select the correct choice below if necessary, and then fill in the answer box to complete your choice. So for the time period between the following seconds, so will it be at least 51 feet above the ground? So we need to figure out where it's inclusive and where it's not. So over here, okay, we can see that because it says at least, right? At least told us that this was less than or equal to, end up being equal. So that means that we're going to be including 1 second. And then 11 over 4 is the same thing as 2.75 seconds. So it's going to be including. It's inclusive because you're including it with the brackets. So let's go ahead and put these values in. So for the time period between and inclusive of 1 second and 2.75 seconds, let's check our answer, that the ball will be at least 51 feet above the ground. Let's check our result, and there is our answer.